Hey, it's Nikki.
And it's Twee.
And we're
Late to the Party.
A podcast about the film, fashion, and pop culture moments that shaped us into the weirdos that we are. And today we are talking about the Manic Pixie Dream Girl. We're back.
We are. It feels like so long.
It's been a whole week and a half, but it feels like 20.
I think we said this in the last episode or the last couple.
I know we've been really on top of things.
Yeah.
But being on top of things also means that time goes by different.
It does.
When you're not in like flight, function, or freeze all the time and rushing and procrastinating. When we stop being Manic Pixie Dream Girls.
Oh. Have we stopped?
We'll never stop ever stopping, I think. But yeah, we're talking about the Manic Pixie Dream Girl today.
I feel like there's so much to unpack with this trope.
It's okay. Just to preface, we've been on a journey with the Manic Pixie Dream Girl.
Just as a society or us personally?
Personally and as a society. We also, shameless plug, a couple months ago, probably 6 months ago, we talked about Elizabethtown and Garden State with the lovely Phyllis Gove of Podcasts Like It's.
Yes.
And
that was so much fun.
It really was. Oh, we love Phil and we loved being on. So, but we also had a lot of like contradictory thoughts about the Manic Pixie Dream Girl.
Yeah. I feel like talking to him was insightful because I hadn't seen either of those movies beforehand. So like looking at the definition of it and where it started has been eye-opening.
For sure. So when you hear the term Manic Pixie Dream Girl, what comes to mind?
I would say automatically Zooey Deschanel.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's right. Now, after doing all this research and sitting with my thoughts, I don't know if she really is one, but she's definitely quirky.
I mean, as the great and late Whitney Houston said, it's not right, but it's okay. Because that's what I also think of when I hear Manic Pixie Dream Girl.
Yeah. And then I guess Kirsten Dunst in Elizabethtown.
Yeah.
Probably a big example. And Natalie Portman, Garden State.
That's like a huge one. I mean, in my research to bring this topic to the table today, what I've really realized is my thoughts about the Manic Pixie Dream Girl, probably like a lot of people, are like Zooey Deschanel, 500 Days of Summer, Ramona Flowers, and of course, you know, like Kirsten Dunst and Natalie Portman in those films. I truly think that even though in my mind there's so many Manic Pixie Dream Girls, I feel like by the creator of the trope, or like not the creator of the trope, but the creator of the term, it's Sam in Garden State and Claire in Elizabethtown. That's all I know.
Yeah.
In my great grand research of this trope, all I know is those two characters are for sure Manic Pixie Dream Girls. And everything else is either trying to be a deconstruction of the trope, or it's just misappropriated.
I agree. I'm like, wow, we really misappropriated a lot of Manic Pixie Dream Girls.
It's also like such a time. I feel like we need to have like an in memoriam for the Manic Pixie Dream Girl because she really only exists in its true form from like 2004 to 2009.
Yeah.
And then it's nothing else.
That's true. Where did she go?
Where did the Manic Pixie Dream Girl go? You know what? I'm just going to say it up front, Brie.
Yeah?
Let me know what you think.
Okay.
I think we don't get a lot of true Manic Pixie Dream Girls because we don't remember shitty writing and like shitty character
like maybe we've gotten
stories.
better.
I think so, or at least we're not like holding on to like I'm a Zach Braff hater.
Oh, okay.
Like in my soul. I'm so sorry to this man. But I think Sam in Garden State opened the floodgates and created a problem.
It's his fault. It is not the guy necessarily who coined the term. It is just Zach Braff. It's his fault.
I do, because
he started this mess.
Okay, wait. The argument about the Manic Pixie Dream Girl is she's not a fully realized person. She's only there to have like a quirky personality and like great music tastes that are not like other girls, and to help this sad boy get out of a deep depressive episode and show him how to live life.
Right.
Every single female in a Zach Braff directed movie lives up to this trope.
And what about Russell Crowe?
Oh, Cameron Crowe.
I mean,
What about Russell Crowe?
I said that's so confident.
No, I loved that.
What does Russell Crowe think?
Is it that I knew you were talking about Cameron Crowe, but I also was like, what about Russell Crowe? Because that's a whole other thing we can talk about.
I felt so good. I'm like, I researched this. I know his name. What about Cameron Crowe? Because
but for a different day, what about Russell Crowe?
Yeah, we'll circle back to him.
Cameron Crowe is also not a problem. He loves a Manic Pixie Dream Girl.
Yeah.
That's
Have you seen Vanilla Sky? Or I haven't, but I've seen previews.
Right? I've of course seen the clip of Tom Cruise in Times Square to that, like, what is it, like a U2 song or something? And
yeah.
I'm like, oh, this looks like a good movie. I know it has Penelope Cruz.
Yes.
I remember, reading when I first learned how to read.
You read about this movie?
I know, but like I remember it was a big thing at the time in like the Star magazines and tabloids. Like Tom Cruise and Penelope Cruz were dating.
Ooh.
That's
the two Cruises.
Yeah.
Huh.
We don't talk about that enough.
No.
A random relationship in 2001. We don't talk about it enough.
We should circle back to that too.
Yeah. We'll circle back.
Yeah.
That like post Nicole Kidman divorce with her just like with her hands in the air like she divorced Tom Cruise. Yeah. I'm excited. Anyways,
yeah.
But also, what about Russell Crowe?
I was no. Well, forget about Russell Crowe. I don't know how to like. I don't know anything about Russell Crowe.
What I really know about Russell Crowe is I thought he was a great actor, and then I saw Les Mis, and I got confused.
That's right. I always forget he's in Les Mis
because I haven't seen a lot of Russell Crowe movies, but I've seen Les Mis.
Yeah.
Anyways, same with like Pierce Brosnan. I haven't seen like any of those Bonds, but I have seen Mamma Mia.
Right.
And that like makes a different way,
He's our Manic Pixie Dream boy.
He is. Sam and Mamma Mia.
Actually, all the men in Mamma Mia are Manic Pixie Dream boys. Yeah.
Oh, I love those men. What were we saying?
Just Manic. I don't know. Just directors. You're blaming Zach Braff.
Okay, I know I'm being very brazen with my statements that I'm a Zach Braff hater, and I think he's the cause of the Manic Pixie Dream Girl. Mm-hmm. But I really do think like Cameron Crowe is, in all of his films has an element of the Manic Pixie Dream Girl that like helps his male protagonist. It furthers the story of the male protagonist.
It does. And
she's like a little sprite along the way, like Penny Lane in Almost Famous. Even though she's not like a sprite, but it's like...
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Don't you think, though, that like Kirsten Dunst's character in Elizabethtown was doing too much?
I think so. Well, is she
like way too much. Oh, like she's a figment of his imagination.
Is Claire a figment of Orlando Bloom's imagination?
Maybe he did have a full mentee bee. His father died and
he tried to kill himself on that bike.
Yeah. So maybe he's just hallucinating her, and that's how he stays. It's like when you play The Sims.
Yes.
Just, when you see the bunny rabbit because you've lost it, and then you start seeing the cuckoo doctor. They just start appearing. No one else can see them but you.
But him. I mean,
I'm just saying.
Well, if we're going to unpack Elizabethtown for a second, the way, spoiler alert, Orlando Bloom tries to kill himself in Elizabethtown.
Yeah.
Is psychotic. Like, put him in an institution, not because he's suicidal, but because that's like the worst way to go. Like, why would he do that?
I don't know.
And of course it's not successful. On an exercise bike? What is wrong with you?
Yeah.
But I don't know. He should be rewarded by the presence of Kiki Dunst.
I know. And she's has no interest in anything. Like, she's a stewardess. Like, okay, it's very, like, it's hard to believe that, like, if you were a stewardess, you're just working, doing your job, you're going to sit down to next to some random dude and
insert yourself into his life.
Yeah, just like that.
Also, like, she gives up her vacation time to be with him and to create this whole soundtrack for him.
It's too much, and a whole roadmap, and she takes pictures and cuts. It's like a whole big book of, like, activities that she creates for him to do, and it's a little much. I'm like, this is so unrealistic. And if they don't have like a meet cute
No, she
or anything.
just thrusts herself upon him.
Yeah.
Yeah. As much I agree. Well, Elizabethtown's not a good movie.
Yeah. It is fun to watch though.
It is.
For that reason. And
almost
for Susan Sarandon's stand up in that movie.
It's true. Her like ballet routine.
Yeah.
I'm into that bit. But I guess I don't know. The Manic Pixie Dream Girl is an interesting thing because sometimes I don't mind it. And sometimes I really mind it. Like in Elizabethtown, I do feel like Nathan Rabin, who coined this term, where I'm like, no, this does not sit right in my soul.
Yeah.
It must be stopped.
He did. That was the whole point of, I know he said he regretted coming up with the term, but I think it's because we've just, as a society, run away with it.
Nathan Rabin ate with the term Manic Pixie Dream Girl. That it's like seeped into our lexicon. Chef's kiss.
I know. He should be proud.
He should be proud. We should be proud. Because it's a way to describe these characters. And I feel like he did kind of put the kibosh on the Manic Pixie. He like started it and stopped it.
Yeah, he's like, all right, we've started it. These are the 2 examples, and that should be the only examples.
Yeah. Well, and also, I know I said I hate Zach Braff films. Garden State is superior to Elizabethtown.
I agree.
I like Garden State. I like Natalie Portman as Sam.
I think I would rather... I could probably stand to be around her more than... I like Kiki, but I just feel like she's almost too in your business.
Definitely. Well, she just doesn't...
And Sam's like, get away from me, I'm crazy, or something. You know, she has like these weird, like... She's like, I don't know why I lie, I just do.
She seems... And this is probably Natalie Portman's performance that really takes it up a level, because in Garden State, Sam is very genuine.
Yeah.
Like, that's why when she does, like, quirky, like, annoying, quote-unquote things, you're like, oh, okay, but, she's, like, weird.
Yeah,
and
when she buries her hamster.
Yeah, she has a problem keeping animals alive, but that's okay. Like, she's weird, and she's, going through life.
Do you think JoJo Siwa is a Manic Pixie Dream Girl?
How so?
I just think that, like, not to just make everything about JoJo, but, like, in Garden State, when Sam is like, I just, like, say random things. I'm the first person to ever do anything. Wah! I'm just saying, like, watch that scene again and tell me it doesn't make you think of JoJo.
I would say this. JoJo Siwa, I think to be a Manic Pixie Dream Girl, you have to have like a level of self-awareness that I don't know if our girl JoJo has.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I feel like JoJo Siwa might be someone like me in high school that was like, I'm a Manic Pixie Dream Girl.
Yeah.
You just act like Jess from New Girl. Like, or Jess from New Girl really is like a fun take on the MPDG.
Yeah. Do you think she's Manic Pixie?
I think she thinks she is. And I think that in the real world, in New Girl, everyone's like, what are you doing, girl?
Mm-hmm.
Get yourself together. Like, you can't act like that. But, in her head, she's like, I break for birds. I wear polka dots. I make weird noises. Like, she's like Sam in Garden State. Or, whatever. She's like, I'm, the flashbacks in the pilot episode where Jess is like playing like, what if God was one of us to her like middle school friends, and they're like, oh
yeah,
what's up with this bitch? Like, that's a fun take on the Manic Pixie Dream Girl, and I think JoJo Siwa might be like that.
So like, not like, I'm trying to think how to word this.
Yeah. Well, in any shade, I can say that both of us in our lifetimes have exhibited traits of a Manic Pixie Dream Girl.
Yeah, I would say. And is that bad?
It's not bad, right? We're gonna unpack that together.
I know.
Is that bad?
I don't think so. I think it's only maybe if you're not thinking of yourself. Like, I don't know. Because isn't the whole Manic Pixie Dream Girl, like, isn't the argument that her existence is just to, like, help some guy along, and she has no ambitions of our own or
like inner world.
Which, I mean, we're real people, so hopefully we would have those.
I don't think real life people can be Manic Pixie Dream Girls.
I don't think so.
But if I dare say it, we are all actors in life.
Uh-huh.
We're all characters in other people's stories.
That's true.
So from my perspective, I've had Manic Pixie Dream Boys that just come into my life and like make it better and then like leave.
That's
They're
true.
not a part of the story. So like that's why I'm not like super sipping the haterade with Cameron Crowe, because he has created really good Manic Pixie Dream Girls, like in Almost Famous.
Yes, Penny Lane
is great.
Is amazing, yeah.
And she does have an inner world. It's just not from that story is not from her perspective, because it's the boy, because that's Cameron Crowe.
Right.
That's his story.
That makes sense.
So,
yeah. So do you think it's like inherently a sexist thing, or just like the writers are just not taking the time to go in depth because it's a fantasy? They're just like,
I think it's when you edit a video, that like funny YouTube text with like the glitter. It's like misogynistic in like all lower cases with like some glitter.
Oh, like some cutesy glitter. Yeah.
Yeah, misogynist light, sexist light.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, not to bring up Zach Braff again, my mortal enemy.
Your mortal enemy.
But he's also created a lot of female characters that I think he thinks he ate.
Really? Like who? I mean, to be honest, I don't know much about Zach Braff other than he was in the Scrubs.
Yeah.
And Garden State, and that's about it, to be honest.
I think Zach Braff like sipped his own Kool-Aid. He was like, "Oh my God, Garden State, I did a great job. I nailed it. So let me do The Last Kiss," where Rachel Bilson, who's amazing and fabulous and great, she's gonna be my Manic Pixie Dream Girl du jour. Or, I'm going to have like a weird storyline in that one movie where it's like Chloe Grace Moretz in a wig. And, like...
Oh, yeah.
I think the Manic Pixie Dream Girl is only really problematic when it's like the writer knows it's a Manic Pixie Dream Girl and doesn't do anything to stop that train, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I think that's few and far between. Like, I don't think there's a lot of bad examples, because this trend really ran its course. This trope really ran.
That's true. And I feel like there's more movies that, like you said, like deconstruct it than really like praise it, I guess. Because like 500 Days of Summer, we watched that together recently. And it kind of plays with the trope and has you kind of thinking that maybe Summer is a Manic Pixie Dream Girl, but then and we do see it from is it Tim, right? Tom. Might
as well be Tim.
I think I call everyone Tim when I don't know their name.
Tim.
Tim.
It's just Russell Crowe. What's up with Russell Crowe?
But anyway, we do get from like his perspective. So I think to Tom, she is a Manic Pixie Dream Girl to him, but not. But in the movie, in the context of it all, I think she's more than that. And, And
she tells him, and he ignores it.
He does, yeah. He's definitely the problem. But it's interesting that we, as a society, have decided that Tom was in, like, he's the victim or something. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I think a lot of people sided with Tom. And I get it, because that's the movie's from his perspective. But if you think about it, it's like, oh... This is just it's like things just didn't work out with them. They were clearly not compatible. They're not on the same page. Yeah.
You know what? We have a movie night every Sunday, and all of our friends get together. The guys were like, 500 Days of Summer is so sad. And you and I were just silent. And even after the movie was over, we both looked at each other and were like, is that like low-key a comedy?
Yeah, we were like cackling during this movie. It was hilarious. I thought it was going to be sad too, though, because... I thought it, like, I've never seen it, and I've only seen, the previews. I thought it was going to be, like, Eternal Sunshine.
Brie, I am so, like, just speechless that you've never seen 500 Days of Summer.
No, it's the first time.
Brie, if you saw this movie in your peak Tumblr high school
I
years,
know.
summer would have been your entire personality.
Well, maybe it's a good thing it didn't happen. Or maybe not. I don't know. Okay, I gotta say, relating to Summer, when she says Ringo Starr is my favorite, and he goes, but nobody likes Ringo Starr that much. And she's like, that's what I love about him. I've literally said that. I'm like, he's my favorite too, because no one loves him.
I'm like, I feel so sad that you didn't have like 500 summers to make your entire personality like the summer of your freshman year of high school.
I wonder what, yeah. I don't know. I feel like she was relatable though. She's like, I don't want to be in a relationship. I don't want this.
She spells it out.
Yeah. I feel like I was Summer for a while, to be honest. I feel it makes, I don't know.
It totally makes sense.
She's easy to understand. She's, I don't know, into art. What else did she do? I can't remember.
She loves the Smiths.
She loves the Smiths. That was interesting in that movie. I had seen like a lot of things on Tumblr, like the it's Chloe Grace Moretz again. She plays Tom's little sister, and she's like, just because someone likes the same bizarro crap as you doesn't mean they're your soulmate.
Oh my god, I re-blogged that so many times.
I saw, yeah, I remember.
Oh yeah, you probably,
every week.
Expectation versus reality. Oh my gosh, so embarrassed.
No, that movie made a lot of good points. I thought
it did. I think it's crazy though that 500 Days of Summer comes out in 2009.
Mm-hmm.
The term Manic Pixie Dream Girl, that article for the AV Club was written in January of 2007. So already like, it's like a speed run of like a trope of like an overused term.
Mm-hmm.
It's like in 2 years, it's already being deconstructed. And it already was deconstructed with Clementine and Eternal Sunshine before
it was even
a term.
Yeah, that's crazy. I love that.
I do too.
Love to see that. I love her monologue where she's, what does she say? I'm just a girl.
I'm just as fucked up as anyone else. What does she
Something like that. Yeah. She's like, hold on, I've got it. Too many guys think I'm a concept, or I complete them, or I'm going to make them alive. And then she says, I'm just a girl looking for my own peace of mind. Don't assign me yours. Mic drop.
Word.
Yeah.
It's totally true. So the Manic Pixie Dream Girl exists solely in the fevered imaginations of sensitive writer-directors to teach broodingly soulful young men to embrace life and its infinite mysteries and adventures. It's one way to describe a Manic Pixie Dream Girl. And I would say a Manic Pixie Dream Girl, when I think of one, they're definitely free-spirited, not like other girls, have unique interests that would be cool to men. But I also think that I'm like programmed. Like, I feel like a Manic Pixie Dream Girl is so like programmed in me. I feel like I was raised by the Manic Pixie Dream Girl, or just with that kind of trope around, that it's hard for me to be like, do female have these random, like, do they really like Joy Division? Or is it just because like we think at like 16 that's what men will find appealing about us and not like other girls?
But who's at 16 who's thinking these things? Like
me.
You're thinking like pre-calculating music taste?
I don't know. I mean, that's a pick me. But where's the line between Manic Pixie Dream Girl and a pick me?
That is true. I know, I was thinking that too. Yeah, because it does overlap a bit. Right?
Definitely. Or Manic Pixie Dream Girls have mental illnesses.
Or maybe they just have mental illness.
Maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's mental illness.
Honestly, maybe. Yeah. I don't know.
Is that why, speaking of high school Tumblr era, is that why we all had anxiety? Except we did have anxiety. I still have anxiety.
I know. But the music taste thing is interesting to bring up because that's a big part of the Manic Pixie. Like that always seems to be like a gateway to the Manic Pixie Dream Girl.
I would say music in Manic Pixie Dream Girls. Like that's like one of the pillars of being an MPDG.
Mm-hmm.
So when I think of Manic Pixie Dream Girl too, I think of their headphones being like this open like vortex of intimacy for the character, you know? Like Sam in Garden State being like, you gotta listen to the Shins. It'll change your life. hear my headphones, or in Tom's maybe fantasy in 500 Days of Summer being like listening to headphones, and Zooey Deschanel being like, you like the Smiths? I love the Smiths.
Yeah. It's always an indie band.
Which, you know what I just said about music and females and pick-me's? Wrong. Because I liked all that indie music crap at a way too young age before I even liked
I know.
boys.
I was going to say, Nick, I don't okay. Because I hear what you're saying, but I've known you a long time, and you've just always liked this kind of music. So, like, I don't think you've done it for any reason but your own. So
I'm like having an existential
you're not like
crisis.
other girls, but you're also not like, yeah.
Not like other girls.
Because I just think we're really quick to label maybe people or these characters as Manic Pixie Dream Girls when they're not all Manic Pixie Dream Girls. Like, there's arguments too, like older films like Annie Hall or Breakfast at Tiffany's, like Holly Golightly.
Was Holly Golightly a Manic Pixie Dream Girl, or is she just a sex worker?
And she's quirky.
Well, how's she quirky? Well,
there's a lot of ways.
Well, that's true. Maybe I've also been like,
you're like,
what's so quirky about, like, I don't know, what does she keep in her
shoes in her freezer or something? Like, is it in their freezer?
In her oven?
Or the oven?
But she lives in New York City. Why is she gonna cook?
But she has a cat that she won't name. I don't know. She's just quirky. She sings out of the window. Yeah, that's true.
She's
love to see it.
My defense of Holly Golightly not being a Manic Pixie Dream Girl, she sings out the window, right?
Mm-hmm.
But she has a guitar. She's just playing music. If a dude did that, he would be like, I don't know, Noel or Liam Gallagher, or like Harry Styles, playing Wonderwall.
I think Harry Styles is some people's Manic Pixie Dream boy.
I think
Anne Hathaway.
Michael Showalter.
Michael Showalter. Yeah. We don't know anything. Okay. The idea of you, we don't know anything about that boy's inner life. It's all about Anne Hathaway's character. So
love to see it, but also would love a story about how he got those bad tattoos. Like, I want to know. I want to know that about Harry Styles too.
Yeah.
But what are you talking about? Oh, Holly Golightly, I think the quirky thing she does, though, makes sense. Like, not naming the cat. It's because she doesn't want to commit because she has some troubles.
Yeah, it does make sense.
I think where it gets really Manic Pixie Dream Girly is like a Sam and Garden State or Claire, where they're like, well, I don't really have like real goals or ambitions, and I'm quirky. Let me drop everything to go on this hero's journey and like aid it. Like, I'm a guardian angel, and this is an episode of Touched by an Angel.
This is not Touched by an Angel.
No, there's no Roma Downey. Okay, let's list some Manic Pixie Dream Girls.
Okay.
And then I want to play a game with you.
Ooh, okay.
Claire in Elizabethtown is the Manic Pixie Dream Girl because she was the whole reason why Nathan Rabin coined the term. But yeah, it wasn't a response to Kirsten Dunst's Claire in Elizabethtown, and Rabin in that article criticized the type as one-dimensional, existing only to provide emotional support to the protagonist or to teach him important life lessons while receiving nothing in return. And that's how the term entered our vernacular. It's all thanks to her. But there's also Sam in Garden State.
Yes.
Zooey Deschanel in Anything, but mainly Yes Man and 500 Days of Summer and kind of New Girl. Clementine in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Penny Lane in Almost Famous. Ramona Flowers in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Katharine Hepburn in Bringing Up Baby, which is the first example.
Right.
And Amelie would be considered a Manic Pixie Dream Girl. Holly Golightly in Breakfast at Tiffany's. Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman. Rachel Bilson in The Last Kiss. And Winona Ryder and Charlize Theron in Autumn in New York and Sweet November, respectively. And that's the one where I would say those two examples are also very much like to the definition of a Manic Pixie Dream Girl.
Yeah.
Because they help those men live a life and then they peace out because they, spoiler alert, die.
Damn.
You know what I mean? They don't get to fulfill their story anyways.
Yeah.
Kind of, like a...
That makes sense, though. Well, because Charlize Theron in Sweet November, doesn't she say something like, because I want to help you or something?
Yes.
I don't know. She's like, that's why I'm here. I'm one of the angels.
Which blueprint for Elizabethtown.
Right? Yeah, that's so true. Maybe these were the OGs, sort of. Well, so you wanted to play a game?
Yes, I do.
You want to play a game?
I'm like Jigsaw. Okay. The game is she a Manic Pixie Dream Girl or is she just Twee?
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to list a couple people or characters, etc. And you will tell me, are they a Manic Pixie Dream Girl or are they just Twee?
All right.
Okay. Zooey Deschanel, the person.
She's just Twee. Yeah. Right? No, I'm just...
I don't think a person could actually be a Manic Pixie Dream Girl.
Yeah, the people are not one-dimensional like that.
No. But Zooey Deschanel unfairly does get that rap. But she could just be Twee.
I think she's just Twee.
And nothing's wrong with putting a bird on it.
Yeah, that's right. Just put a bird on it.
Taylor Swift, circa 2012.
Oh my God, I was thinking of Taylor Swift and I'm like, is she a Manic Pixie Dream Girl? Because we don't know a lot about her inner life. And she might be, at least at a certain point. This is difficult. I know what we just said, that real people cannot be Manic Pixie Dream Girls. However, sometimes I feel like she is one. Not all the time, but like something about her being not like other girls.
I know that we can't reduce women to like, one-dimensional character tropes, stock character tropes. However, Taylor Swift, right before Red released, like 2012 Taylor, like sitting alone on the park bench with her newly cut bangs, with the headphones in, her love of those, like, what are those shoes? They're not ballet flats, but they're like the menswear.
Yeah. Oh, Oxfords?
Yes. Oxfords, like the Twee dresses.
Oh my God, I'm having flashbacks to my own Twee
yes
times.
You were influenced.
I was very.
But I do think like Speak Now, pre-Red Taylor Swift, the public persona was very Manic Pixie Dream Girl in the sense of like the Twee Manic Pixie Dream Girl who, loves like this fairy tale ideal and like isn't like other girls. Like she leaned into the I'm not like other girls.
She
so
did.
hard. With like songs like The Bop Better Than Revenge or Mean, but this like character, like this.
In interviews too, I feel like she said things like, oh no, I like the weird little quirks. I can't think of any examples off the top of my head, but. Oh,
that iconic interview where the interviewer asked her if she's a warrior and she's like, a worrier? I worry all the time. Very New Girl coded.
It is.
Also, she was on an early episode of New Girl.
Oh, yeah.
So the worlds were coming together.
Mm-hmm.
Like, We're Never Getting Back Together, that music video as well. A little Manic Pixie Dream Girl coded.
Yeah. I would say her persona is at least in that time. Yeah.
And it's a persona. I feel like that's safe to say.
Yeah.
And also, it's safer to say her than Zooey Deschanel because Zooey Deschanel is an actor. Taylor Swift is not an actor.
That's true.
So, anyways. Sam in Garden State.
Definitely Manic Pixie Dream Girl.
What makes Natalie Portman's role in that film Manic Pixie Dream Girl?
I guess just that she's there to help Zach Braff's character. But then there are times where I'm like, maybe she does have an inner world. We just don't know about it or something. Because we get to see some of her life. I don't know.
I think the fact that the story never goes into it a little more with her character, despite, because obviously she does have like a life with her family.
Yeah.
And she does have something going on with her.
Right.
At least health-wise, perhaps. It alludes to certain things.
It does allude, but we never know.
And also, she kind of drops it to be with Zach Braff and to help him on this journey.
Yeah.
So it does seem like she is like a fully formed character. We just don't get to see it, which I'm like, is that lazy screenwriting or is that intriguing? I don't know.
It was one of his first films too, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I'm more like, I give more of a pass if it's someone's early work because I'm like, oh, maybe, they just hadn't thought that deep.
But arguably it's his best work. You were watching Annie Hall yesterday and I decided to watch The Last Kiss.
Oh, really? What did you think?
It turned me into a Zach Braff hater for sure.
I know. I'm like, where's all the... Because I feel like when we talked about Garden State before, you were like all about it.
I was a Zach Braff defender, and then I saw The Last Kiss, and I was like, I know what he's doing. Why? And those T-Mobile commercials. They got to go.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think, like, Garden State is a very well-done film, and I think...
It was all downhill from there?
Well, no, I think I just don't like being... I don't know if pandered's the right word, but I don't like it when it's like, oh, I did so... Like, I slayed with this. Let me just do it again in a different font, and no one will notice, and everyone will like it again.
Mm.
Like, I don't really, like, love that. You lose respect. You lose, like, street points, Or street cred.
So he's lost all street cred.
For me, personally, but I still have a soft spot for Garden State. Mainly because of Natalie Portman's performance.
Yeah. It's hard not to like, because I love everything Natalie Portman does, And she gave it, you could tell she really gave it her all.
Yes. I mean, I also, in defense of the Manic Pixie Dream Girl, because of Zooey Deschanel and 500 Days of Summer, I started listening to the Smiths.
Yeah?
That changed my musical life. I mean, she introduced me, 500 Days of Summer, Mark Webb introduced me to the Smiths. Natalie Portman loving the Shins. I can imagine for a bunch of women in particular, like seeing Natalie Portman's character get down with the Shins, introduce them to the Shins.
So it had some positives.
Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. People love that movie for a lot of different things, but also Black Sheep is a banger.
Yeah.
And now people know Metric. So I don't know if that's in defense of a trope or not. I just say there's some merits to it, I suppose.
Yeah. No, I don't think it's all bad. But yeah, I guess she's a manic pixie. I don't know. I'm like...
Which one?
Sam. I guess so. Yeah.
Let's see. Annie Hall or Diane Keaton and Annie Hall.
I don't think so. After watching 500 Days of Summer and Annie Hall, they're very similar movies. I didn't watch all of Annie Hall. I couldn't, I don't know. Woody Allen gives me the ick, and I couldn't watch it all.
I couldn't imagine why.
And he was grating, the whole time. It was hard to even watch the beginning and get past his, he does, a monologue, or, he narrates to the camera. He's talking about his life, his character's life or whatever. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, get to Diane Keaton already. Where is she? And, but it's very similar in a lot of ways. It tells a story non-linearly. It's told from, I guess, the male protagonist's point of view. But he's basically like Tom. They're both kind of losers. Just saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tom. I think Tom has potential, but I think he just isn't self-aware enough in that moment.
Yeah. We've all been Toms. We've all been Summers. So,
yeah. That's true. But anyway, in Annie Hall, I do not think that she is a manic pixie dream girl, but I do think that that's how she's looked at. From the protagonist's perspective, that's how he's thinking of her, but he's not really. It's the same kind of there's a disconnect there. She has her own thoughts and views. She has things she wants to do and her own ambitions, and she does them eventually. It's same kind of ending. Spoiler. But yeah, they don't end up together, and he's trying to figure out why.
Is the whole Annie Hall Summer and 500 Days of Summer thing seeing the trope through, or a real in real life someone can be a manic pixie dream girl or boy in your life, and because they're a complete actual person that they're gonna of course have their own autonomy.
Yeah,
and they're gonna do what they're gonna do.
It's not gonna end up like the movies.
Yeah, it's the natural ending is is a situation like Annie Hall.
I liked Diane Keaton in that movie, though. It was cool. And she came up with the character style and everything. That was all her.
Yeah, that's the coolest part.
Right? Because that's like another thing with the Manic Pixie Dream Girls is the style. So
Yes. How would you describe Manic Pixie Dream Girl fashion?
I would say a lot of it is kind of twee or like maybe vintage light kind of.
It's either that or like steampunk.
Yeah.
Like a Clementine or a Ramona Flowers.
Right. Yeah. Like the dyed hair, kind of edgy, little punk, little something.
They wear Doc Martens.
Yeah.
Because they're not like other girls. I would say that. Very unique style. There's a quirk to them. Like, obviously Annie Hall is the blueprint. I feel like Annie Hall, even though she's not a Manic Pixie Dream Girl, like a Manic Pixie Dream Girl would be influenced by Diane Keaton's style in Annie Hall.
Definitely.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, because she's not like the other girls. Yeah. She's in like menswear. She looks cool.
Yeah.
She's not gonna conform to societal norms.
Yes, she's subversive.
Yeah.
Which I don't hate. But yeah. I mean, it's definitely an archetype. The trope does kind of depersonalize people.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of ironic because, especially fashion-wise, a Manic Pixie Dream Girl, the trope is pretty reductive.
Yeah.
But the whole point of these characters' style is to be so unique and so themselves and like free-spirited enough to like be their authentic selves.
Yes.
But usually it's to teach the man to express his inner child.
That's true. But there are people that exist outside that and characters. Like, what about Lady Bird?
That's true. Well, I don't know if she's a Manic Pixie Dream Girl.
But she has that aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
But she's like the opposite. She's not.
No, not at all.
You know what I mean? Like, she's like the opposite of a Manic Pixie. But she has a Manic Pixie Dream boy, possibly.
Timothée Chalamet.
Yeah. He's kind of like Summer, I feel. Like,
yeah.
You know, kind of cynical and kind of has weird, like, well, he has like conspiracy theories or something like about cell phones.
I'm sure Greta Gerwig has thought hard about the Manic Pixie Dream Girl trope.
Yeah, I wonder if that was intentional.
I feel like Greta's aware.
That makes sense.
Also, dyed hair. I know we have like the blue-haired people now, like we talk about, but there are those subsect of aesthetics, like Lady Bird or Ramona Flowers or Clementine, that are really trying to just be themselves. I feel like if you're gonna dye your hair a pastel hue, you're going through something.
You think so?
I think there's something going on, but not in a bad way. I just feel like if you have that urge, that impulse, you want to project to the world that you're different and make your mark. Yeah. Now, why with your hair? That's something for you to unpack with your therapist.
Yeah.
You know?
You think so?
I mean, I think so.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way.
I mean, I've thought of maybe dyeing my hair teal or red at some points.
Why didn't you? Were you not sad enough?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe if what you're saying is true, maybe
you weren't.
Maybe I had to be super sad
or like defiant. Maybe
defiant.
Is a better word.
Maybe defiant. Yeah.
But you've cut your hair.
I have cut my hair.
Been, like, fuck the male gaze.
I have. Yeah.
Manic Pixie Dream Girls are so interesting though because like in one breath, a Manic Pixie Dream Girl is like, fuck the male gaze. I'ma do what I want. But they're always stock characters to support like a male protagonist's dream.
That's true.
So confusing. Now I get it. I've gone through a journey over these like 45 minutes. I understand why Nathan Rabin was like, this has to stop.
Yeah.
Because it's madness.
It is. But I mean, I really think Sam and Claire are probably the only true ones. Right? Or maybe I've never seen Autumn in New York, but I've seen some clips of Sweet November. That seems to definitely be a Manic Pixie Dream Girl.
And Autumn in New York's the same story.
They're basically the same.
I always get confused. Autumn in New York is Winona Ryder and Richard Gere. Sweet November is Keanu Reeves and Charlize Theron.
Do you think Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman is a manic pixie? Or
yes.
Or is Richard Gere the manic pixie?
No, I think that Gary Marshall created a film that's a little more nuanced and like lovely than people give it credit for. Or maybe not. I mean, people love Pretty Woman. But I just don't hear it. Me too. I don't hear about the discourse a lot. But yeah, where's the Pretty Woman discourse? I'd love to know.
Let's create some.
Yeah, let's add to the Pretty Woman discourse. I would say a light yes. And I will tell you why. So Vivian is a stripper with a heart of gold, or like a sex worker with a heart of gold.
Yes.
She comes into Richard Gere's life to show him that he can loosen up, he can love. You know, she's a little rough around the edges. Like, she's beautiful, but she doesn't have like designer clothes. She's not prim and proper like the other gals Richard Gere's dated, or his characters dated. You know, she's not like other girls. Also, she loves to listen to Prince in her headphones and sing Natalie Portman style in Garden State. You know, when you just have to prove that you're an authentic, real person in this world and go boop, 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 boop. You know?
That's true.
And at the end of it, we know one thing about Julia Roberts' character, right? She wants the fairy tale.
Yes. And she gets it. But what does Richard Gere get? He gets a lot. He gets a pretty woman. More.
He gets to change as a person. Vivian never changes. She's just there to shake up his life.
You don't think she changes?
I mean, she gets more expensive clothes.
That's true.
Because she's fine the way she is, you know? Maybe she doesn't curse in front of, like, high society. But, you know, she doesn't, like, inner workings. She doesn't change as a person.
True. But doesn't he sort of save her in a way?
Like, from the streets?
Yeah. He swoops in and, you know,
saves her. But I would also say he's a sad sack.
Yeah.
Who's taught how to love and to live his life on his terms.
I always thought it was the other way around. But maybe you're right. I don't know. I need to rewatch Pretty Woman is what this is telling me.
I think so. I love Pretty Woman.
I do too. I've never thought about it with the Manic Pixie Dream Girl. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's a good question.
Yeah, and nothing's wrong. Everyone uses the term Manic Pixie Dream Girl as a pejorative term. But I don't think it's a bad thing. Like, I understand the criticisms, but I love that we have a term to describe these characters because it just means that there's more characters.
Yeah.
In like, a story.
Because what else would we use?
I don't know, but I love that we're talking about it.
Yeah.
And, you know.
A lot of these, like, Manic Pixie Dream Girls, quote unquote, I'm like, I mean,
I do too.
Yeah.
And I've been rewatching New Girl again. So good.
New Girl's hilarious. It's funnier than I remember.
It's really funny. Really well written. So I don't hate it. And I love Garden State.
Just not Zach Braff.
Just not Zach Braff. Holly Golightly.
Yeah.
Is a kind of a one of those, like, it's like in the list of Manic Pixie Dream Girl examples, it's like at the bottom of the list.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say about the Pretty Woman of it all, Holly Golightly is a little different because, what's his name? The male protagonist character. Tim.
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my gosh, I forget his name. But anyways, she is exhibiting Manic Pixie Dream Girl tendencies, I would suppose.
Mm-hmm.
But his character does at the end of it, when she loses the cat with no name, he is like eventually like, snap out of it, girl.
He does.
Get it together. Because, like, you can't just be running away from all your problems. You can't be tooting around, going to Sing Sing to get all these gifts. And then you lose your cat. Snap out of it. You know?
Yeah.
Because he was also a hoe on the side. That's my...
I forgot. Oh my God, he was a hoe. That's why she left the money. For some reason, I forget that was like... Mm-hmm. They were both hoes.
They were both hoes. So he has no place to talk. I think that's why she's not a Manic Pixie Dream Girl, because he's also a Manic Pixie Dream boy.
Yes.
In the same story.
And that's why it kind of works, maybe.
Yes.
And they both teach each other things. Because she's very, like... kind of, like... closed off, you know, like she doesn't let people in. She doesn't even name her cat. She's like, I don't belong to anything, nothing belongs to me. But like they both kind of learn how to love, you know, or something
I don't really
maybe we just projected onto them.
I think so. I think they're both a hot mess.
I'm like, I love this is the best romance of all time. Turns out they're both hoes. They're both hot messes.
All with love. Hoes with love. I love a hoe.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't know if I've stated that clearly enough on this podcast. Anytime I'm like, bitch, hoe, I'm like, in a loving
It's a term of endearment.
It really is. And maybe Manic Pixie Dream Girl too.
Yeah.
No, if I say you're like Claire from Elizabethtown.
That's an insult.
Or I'm like, Zach Braff definitely wrote you. Then that's it.
Can you please say that to someone?
You're like if Zach Braff wrote you.
It's like the ultimate diss.
Yes. Oh, on just circling back to Manic Pixie Dream Girl fashion. Do you remember the Heaven Marc Jacobs campaign? The Meet Me in Montauk campaign? Where the models, they recreated that scene on the beach in Eternal Sunshine, and the girl's like, is Clementine. I think it was like last year or maybe the year before, but I do love seeing a Manic Pixie Dream Girl, in quotations, in fashion.
Oh, sick. They're actually on the beach. No, I have not seen this.
Yeah, it's like a recreation of...
And on the subway.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
I love when brands take like a trope or like a movie reference and put it into their like campaign.
That's genius.
Also, Heaven by Marc Jacobs is the quintessential Manic Pixie Dream Girl brand.
I love the aesthetic. Like, I'm so tempted. Like, they have all sorts of chunky shoes as well. Mm-hmm. But
oh my gosh, the Virgin Suicide skirt. If anyone sends me a link on the Real or something.
I know their stuff is so expensive, but
I mean, I would pay the big bucks if you got an extra small in that skirt.
Yeah.
I can't find it though.
Damn.
That's my Roman Empire. It'll haunt me the rest of my
that
life.
Skirt.
Yes. Anything else about the Manic Pixie Dream Girl? Do you have any favorite Manic Pixie Dream Girl movies soundtrack moments? Any music from any of the films?
I will say Let Go and Garden State. That the Frou Frou, or is it just Frou Frou? Whatever.
Imogen Heap.
Yeah.
Frou Frou. Yeah.
I just love that moment. I love that song just in general. Just that whole soundtrack's really good. New Slang, you know?
The Shins.
Such great. They have Iron and Wine.
Twilight.
Did you say Twilight?
Yeah, Iron and Wine just makes me think of Twilight.
Oh, I thought you were just saying Twilight, like the soundtrack. Because like some people argue that like Bella is a Manic Pixie Dream Girl or something.
I mean,
or like maybe Edward's the Manic Pixie Dream Boy. I'm not sure, but there's something happening there where
she does forgo any personality, which might not be Manic Pixie Dream Girl-y.
It's supposed to be about her too, I mean her perspective, and she has no personality.
Yeah, I don't know about
what
that
does that
one.
say? Yeah,
I feel like if you tried to like identify yourself as a real life human as a Manic Pixie Dream Girl, you obviously like Twilight. Like there's overlap.
You think so?
Yeah. I think if you subscribe to the MPDG life,
you also like Twilight.
You like Twilight.
You don't make the rules.
I don't make the rules. It's just your hair looks like ladybird's and you like Iron and Wine.
Yeah.
Specifically that one flightless bird song.
The flightless bird. Oh my god! Every time I hear that song, oh.
I think my favorite movie Manic Pixie Dream Girl soundtrack moment, Sweet Disposition in 500 Days of Summer.
That did hit. 500 Days of Summer had a really good soundtrack in general.
Oh my god, Us, Regina Spektor.
Yes.
That whole soundtrack really did change my life, though. I feel like Sam in Garden State, where I'm like, you gotta listen to the 500 Days of Summer movie soundtrack. It will change your life.
I was like not ready for so many bangers. I'm like, what else? They had a mix of things. I kept thinking in that movie that I heard, oh, I did. Okay, so there was a She and Him song called Please, Please, Please Let Me Get, Please Let Me Get What I Want. It's a cover. All right. I thought that's interesting because I thought I heard her voice in there somewhere. Some of these songs I don't know. There's like a French song in there.
It's Carla Bruni.
It is Carla Bruni.
Supermodel Carla Bruni.
She released music.
Yeah. Acoustic French little ditties.
How did I not know this?
I think you did that. I know this was like a Tumblr song of yours.
No
back
way.
In the day, for sure.
Quelques Maudits? What does that mean?
If I play this for you, you're going to be like, oh yeah.
It might have. I did have a French song for some reason. I was really into French songs. I don't know. I had everyone was doing Twee though, right? That was the thing.
Or like, remember Yell?
Yes. I loved Yell. Yeah.
I went through a phase too. I went through a phase of like Belgian hip hop.
What? How did I not know this?
Was it Stromae?
That sounds familiar.
Oh, what did he sing? Los dance. Dun, dun.
Oh yeah, that song.
Yeah.
That's like a whole nother like thing to explore.
I'm not like other girls. You know what you
Belgian
know about
hip-hop.
Belgian hip hop. But yeah, any other
soundtracks? If Breakfast at Tiffany's counts in this, if we're talking about like the realm of Manic Pixie.
Yeah.
I mean, Moon River.
Yeah, it's a banger.
Yeah.
But what about Elizabethtown? Does Cameron Crowe's favorite music
I'm like,
really
what about Elizabeth?
get you? I still haven't found what I'm looking for from YouTube. Really, does that make you just want to like?
I mean, I like that song. I do like enjoy that song, but it's not. I have to be in a very specific mood in a specific place. Like, you know, driving in my car somewhere.
It's true.
Over a bridge, and that song plays, and I was like, yeah. You know,
I could see.
But there had to be other songs.
Elizabethtown is a film where I know Cameron Crowe was like, I ate with that soundtrack because I'm good at soundtracks, and it just was a muddled mess. There
weren't enough like indie songs for me. There's a lot of Tom Petty, you know,
little boomer tunes.
Yeah, it's boomer tunes. There's Lindsey Buckingham.
Not even a Stevie Nicks.
No, that's a red flag. Oh, there's one Elton John song, but I don't even know that song.
What is it?
It's called My Father's Gun.
So he really was like, I ate with Almost Famous. Tiny Dancer. Let me do another Elton John song. And
basically.
It's that one.
I know. If it was Tiny Dancer, maybe if there was like a big moment. Kirsten Dunst singing Tiny Dancer. Being charming.
Oh, but he couldn't do that. Then that would be too on the nose. People would be like, oh, we see what you did there. Because it's an Almost Famous. That's like that iconic scene where they're on the bus.
That's true. No, I think he should have done it again. It worked then.
In Vanilla Sky. It shouldn't have been that like weird song. It should have been Tiny Dancer.
Hold me closer, Tony Dancer. Yeah.
I will say, like, Manic Pixie Dream Girl or like movies with that trope in it, and the girls themselves always have exceptional taste in music. So how can you hate the Manic Pixie Dream Girl but so much?
That's true.
They curate a soundtrack.
Yeah, they like influence our music taste.
They do.
They open up the door.
Also, in defense, wouldn't you rather be like, there's a lot of things where, you know, there's a lot of criticisms about the Manic Pixie Dream Girl, but they're initiators.
Mm-hmm.
They go up to the guy.
That's true.
They made it romantic too. It takes,
Takes guts.
yeah, and it also puts the
girl in charge.
And it also, maybe subconsciously opens it up. Because when we watch the movies, it does reflect our lives in a lot of ways.
That's true.
And especially like romance films, even if they aren't in the genre of romance, they're like, oh, quirky Sam in Garden State approach Zach Braff.
Yeah.
So that's okay. Like, girls can approach me,
That's
she's going to come in and, I think that can be a cool thing.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, like they're the captains of their own ship. It's so funny how these characters are so stock character-y because they have so much potential.
They do.
The Manic Pixie Dream Girl has the potential to be the most interesting character in the whole movie. Sam in Garden State, way more interesting than Zach Braff's character.
Way more.
Claire in Elizabethtown. I'd rather see Kirsten Dunst in that red beret than Orlando Bloom. No offense.
True. And he's a horrible shoe designer.
Yeah.
He sucks.
He does. Or like Scott Pilgrim's weird.
Yeah.
Great movie, but he's weird. And Ramona Flowers is kind of messed up too.
But she looks so cool.
She looks cool. And also, Scott Pilgrim's weird.
Yeah.
And
I know. I still haven't watched that movie all the way through. I cannot get through that movie. I don't know.
it's a good movie. I don't know why it's like it puts me to sleep. But yeah, there have been times in media, post the AV Club article about the Manic Pixie Dream Girl that are trying to deconstruct the trope.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've talked about. But it hasn't really worked. I feel like, and I don't know if it's a Manic Pixie Dream Girl, but definitely like the Pick Me Manic Pixie Dream Girl crossroads.
Yeah.
But I feel like Amy Dunn's monologue in Gone Girl was the final nail in the coffin for the Manic Pixie Dream Girl.
You think so?
Because it laid out everything. Because females know what they're doing. They're so smart.
Was it more influential even? That I feel like it had the same, like what she was saying had the same maybe like gravitas as like, how everyone talks about America Ferrera's speech in Barbie?
Yeah.
I feel like it had the potential to have that impact.
I think that the Gone Girl, Cool Girl monologue has been more impactful and influential than the Barbie monologue.
Yeah.
For sure. I think it's like the female equivalent to the I Have a Dream speech.
Wow.
I know it's both words.
No, I like it. I mean, I remember like watching that monologue and being like, holy shit. Like, yes, girl.
It's because I think maybe that's why real life people can't be Manic Pixie Dream Girls. It's because of what Rosamund Pike is saying in that monologue.
Yeah.
It's like we already are so heavily crafting our image at all times that even though, we can project as a Manic Pixie Dream Girl, we're still it's a conscious thing.
Mm-hmm.
We're creating this. So.
And then she's kind of like, fuck that.
Fuck that. It is kind of hard after that for writers to get tip-tapping writing another Manic Pixie Dream Girl when David Fincher like eviscerated all of those tropes, even cool girl tropes, in like one fell swoop.
That's awesome though. Good, I think.
Good for her.
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, what are your thoughts on like the dismantling of that trope in the sense of like, on one end you have the new girl that's doing it in a way that's like, oh, it's still in the twee sensibilities. It's still like a cute sitcom.
I think it gets misread in that way.
Yeah.
Sorry, not to cut off your question.
Oh, no. I was just going to say that versus like a Silver Linings Playbook where we know about all of Jennifer Lawrence's characters' mental illnesses. Like, does that even work?
I think that works. Yeah, because I mean, look at silver linings and think she's a manic pixie.
Mm.
It didn't really cross my mind, but I think there are ways to play with that idea, and I don't hate the way New Girl does it. I think it's fun. I think it does have room to get misread. But that is maybe on the people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that might be on us for not reading between the lines or just looking at things on a surface level.
Are we all collectively Toms?
I think a lot of times we are, and we should think deeper, maybe, you know?
Yeah. I mean, like, I can't imagine what it is like for the real life person of Zooey Deschanel, like peak, you know, New Girl, like 500 Days heights.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I can't imagine the scripts she had to read, or, you know, just that idea of her getting thrown at her all the time. It's very reductive. And
she did reject the label.
Mm-hmm.
She was like...
But it's then how much can you, because she's synonymous.
That's true. Did she write New Girl, though?
Mm-mm.
But she signed on to it.
Yeah.
At least.
She might have produced it.
She might...
And it's created by, what's her name? It's Elizabeth Merriweather. I believe she did Pitch Perfect.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
She did something that was, very, like, millennial coded.
Yeah.
But I know, like, she was aware of... New Girl's very different. That's not, like, pinned on her. I think she's in control.
I feel like people totally misread 500 Days of Summer, though, if they thought she was Manic Pixie. But I feel like we all did. I don't know.
Yeah. They just...
No one was correcting us.
I mean, even the other day at movie night, when I threw out there to the dudes, like, Tom doesn't get a happy ending, guys. He's just going to create
the same thing.
Do the same thing with Autumn.
Yeah.
Don't you guys know that? And they're like, no.
That's the whole point. Yeah. He's learned nothing.
Yeah. He's had no growth. But actually, that is the thing when you, like, everything's like a circle.
Yeah.
Because there is a Manic Pixie Dream Girl, or the trope, but all these characters, if we were to see, like, the aftermath, like, Orlando Bloom's still going to be as depressive, or Zach Braff's going to be just as lost.
That's because people cannot solve your problems. You have to. You're your own problem and your own solution, to quote Melissa McCarthy in Bridesmaids. You know? Yes. I think it's just like maybe a warning, like, don't rely on someone else to solve your problems. You know?
But if you're going to be depressed, frou-frou playing in the background.
Yeah. That's true. Listen to Frou Frou. Maybe that's what we should take away from the Manic Pixie Dream Girls, is just like the music.
The vibes.
The vibes.
I mean, Manic Pixie Dream Girl vibes are immaculate.
Mm. Yeah, because they're always in a good mood. They're just laughing at what life throws them. Even if they end up dying,
they've lived life to the fullest. They've helped someone else live life to the fullest.
Yeah.
Don't we all just want to, like, dance weird in our rooms?
Yeah.
Wear what we want to wear and just, like, dance through life?
Amen.
Well, can I just read you a quote from Natalie Portman?
Yeah.
Okay. When she was told about the criticism of the Manic Pixie Dream Girl and of Garden State, she said, "When I read the Garden State script, I was like, oh, this is a character that's wacky and interesting, and no one's ever given me a chance to play something like this. It's a sort of unusual girl, so that was my incentive to make it. But of course I can see that trope, and I think it's a good thing to recognize the way those female characters are used. I mean, I appreciate that people are writing characters that are interesting and unusual, rather than some bland female character as the girlfriend in a movie. But when the point of the character in the movie is to, like, help the guy have his arc, that's sort of a problem. And that's why it's good that they're talking about it, because it certainly is a troubling trope." But do you think there are any merits to the Manic Pixie Dream Girl?
I think seeing an unusual, quirky woman on screen might help give other women, just like an okay to be yourself and quirky, you know? I think you could take away that message. It doesn't have to be like you know, oh, I met this sad boy dude and I have to fix it. You know what I mean? Like, I met a Zach Braff, you know?
Totally. No,
But I don't know if
completely
people are
agree.
looking at it. They could also be, I don't know. Not everything is about guys. So maybe it's also like for a guy to think that would be the message to take away as well. Could just be, you know, like I'm just saying, like that's not the message I took away. But also, I don't know if it's
same. It's like that's cute.
yeah. But I do think like okay, I see what Natalie Portman's saying. Like her as like an actor, like she obviously wants to play like roles that don't reduce. Like she doesn't want to play reductive characters.
Well, and if you're thinking about where Natalie Portman was in her career, she just, you know, she was getting off Star Wars,
right?
Also going to Harvard.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Natalie Portman. So you know, up until then, I'm sure as well. The scripts she's given in like 2003 are not gonna like be anything more than the girlfriend like she was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So seeing Garden State, like the script for Garden State, and being like, oh, she's weird, I can work with this, and she does.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you're supposed to do as an actor. That's why she's an Oscar-winning actress.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I also think we've changed a lot as a society.
Yeah, we've had so many interesting female characters, I think, since then too. So I'm not like, it's hard to hate on it completely.
No, there's merits. I love the Manic Pixie Dream Girl when she is her full quirkiness. Like, I want the whole story to be Sam and Garden State.
I think that's the problem, is that we don't get enough of the Manic Pixie. Like, if we spend a little more time delving in to, because it is very surface level.
But they got the juice. Like, the Manic Pixie Dream Girls are that girl.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, that little, like, the fatal flaw that they're there to complete a sad boy story arc.
Yeah. I know. I'm like, if Garden State, if it had a different ending, would it change things? Or
I don't know, but I love that ending because it really is going to be like Tom in 500 Days of Summer.
Mm.
Because Natalie Portman's character is going to have to figure out her own life.
That's true.
Like, it's sort of implied. And also, he should have never gone on that plane anyways. He wasn't happy doing that. So you might as well do this.
Yeah, that's true.
But their relationship is not going to work out.
It's probably not going to. Oh, yeah. I remember now when we watched that movie, we were both like, yeah, it's probably not going to last.
Yeah. Because when you're with a Manic Pixie Dream Girl, it's not going to last.
It's never going to last.
And that's okay. I love showing up in people's stories.
Also, as a Manic Pixie Dream Girl, is that just kind of like a crush? You know?
Yeah.
Like, don't we all idolize our crushes in a way and put them on a pedestal and maybe shouldn't?
For sure. But that's the spice of life. That's the spice of a story.
Yeah. So they had a little spice.
They had a little spice. Also, I would love to see a fully, like a post-Cool Girl monologue renaissance of the Manic Pixie Dream Girl in like a fully developed way. Because I think like right now we are coming in a time where, you know, there's like the rise of the trad wives and like clean girl aesthetic, which I know people are, you know, the new trend is like, you know, we're back into our messy era, but there's still that trad wifey.
What is this clean girl aesthetic? Is that just like tip top? Is
like
that what
goopy,
it means? Oh, okay.
Goopy, like Pilates princess.
Oh, okay.
But that's kind of fallen off. That's like 2 years news. That's old news. But the trad wives really are on the rise.
Gotcha.
If you want to believe the internet.
Oh, okay.
Also, I do in my daily life see a lot of people with trad wife sensibilities.
Mm.
And it shocks me. It shocks me that a 25, like you can be 25 and subscribe to trad wifedom.
That's so weird. Yeah. Maybe our society is just, I don't know. You know, they say things have like ebb and flow. So maybe we're in a weird period of this. And
I think so.
I don't know.
I do think the Manic Pixie Dream Girl is an interesting, because, you know, like the first iterations, I don't really think bringing up baby is a Manic Pixie Dream Girl in the fullest sense.
That's another thing I was thinking, because it's like a screwball comedy, right? So
Yeah.
it's over the top as it is.
And it's a comedy, and like looking from a 1938 lens, like I don't know what that is, but
Also in 1938, it probably would be good to have some interesting female characters at the
Yeah.
very, you know what I mean? And celebrating that quirkiness.
like Katharine Hepburn did pave the way
Mm-hmm.
for characters like that. You're right. You're
Someone had to
absolutely
do
right.
it.
But like if you're thinking about like Barbara Streisand and What's Up Doc, or even, you know, like the Annie Hall of it all, you know, we had some unrest. There were some wars going on.
That's true.
And in the early 2000s, we were alive. So we know that there was this thing called the Iraq War going on.
Mm-hmm.
And George W. was president. And they weren't necessarily trad wives, but there were a lot of things being kind of projected at us as a society to kind of be,
Culture wars.
yeah. You know, and then there was that side that was like, you should be proud to be an American. Don't say anything, you know,
Mm-hmm.
pristine, or, you know, a little more, not even submissive, but I don't know my point. I guess it makes sense why the early 2000s bred the Manic Pixie Dream Girl,
Yeah.
because it's to counter that.
It's a count. Yeah. I was thinking there must have been a reason.
Well, that's like, you know, I was reading in Vogue, they were talking about boho chic coming
Ooh,
back,
I love boho chic.
but they were talking about, because, you know, like Sienna Miller was, you know, at the Chloe show recently, and the new Chloe is very boho chic heavy, very
Ooh.
like romantic and
Yeah.
feminine. And they were talking about how boho chic in like the 60s and 70s was a response to the war.
Yep.
And right now we're going, well, in the early 2000s, the war in Iraq, we were going through that. And that's when, you know, it was really popular as we know it.
Interesting.
You know, the Olsen twins and Sienna Miller.
Huh.
And now, you know, this whole thing with Gaza and this political unrest that we've been having.
And now we're doing boho chic again?
Yeah, or they're trying to make boho chic happen, and it probably eventually will. But yeah, it is very interesting to see that. But art is a reflection of
The times.
the times. That
So-
could be intellectualizing a little too much, though.
No, I'm thinking about, well, because like if you're saying too, like the Manic Pixie Dream Girl had to be there for a reason, or at least in the 2000s, because like too many traditional things might have been projected onto us, you think?
I think bubbling, for
Just
sure.
bubbling. Yeah.
You know, what's the idea of a perfect woman?
Yeah, that's true. Also, what about Clementine then? Because that was 2004.
Mm-hmm.
So she was like ahead of the curve.
She was.
I mean, you might be onto something, Nick.
I haven't fully thought about that, though. That was just like off the dome.
Yeah, no, I feel like everything. I'm like 9/11.
It's a response.
Yeah,
I think a lot of things is like right now are a response to 9/11.
you think so?
I think still to this day, yeah,
This far out,
to some degree. It's a trickle down effect, baby.
probably is.
Well, we all grew up with 9/11, so
That's true.
yeah, we don't know any different. All we know in our lifetimes is unrest.
It's unrest. When will we have rest?
When we have peace.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why we're so nostalgic for the 90s, even though like you and I are way too young to be nostalgic for the 90s,
Yeah.
because we could faintly remember the 90s.
We faintly remember the piece.
Yeah, but I wonder, even people like, you know, that I've spoken with that aren't too much younger than us, were like, I was born in 2002 and I'm nostalgic for the 90s, because it's this idea.
It's the
of-
idea of the 90s.
I mean, yeah, okay. Cults were on the rise and things were getting bombed,
Yeah,
but like not like that big of a deal, you know?
true.
But we can't go back.
We can't go back. Yeah.
Yet.
Not yet. Once we get the time machines, I wouldn't mind going back to the 90s just to check it out
I
in
wanna
my
go back.
adult body.
Yeah, only as an adult. I don't want to go back to the 90s as a 3-year-old. Like, no.
Like, I can't do anything.
Let's do it again.
Oh,
I won't remember most of this. Let's do it again.
Yeah.
No, I want to
I want to live it up in the 90s. I want to go clubbing in the 90s.
I do too. I want to wear a slip dress. I want to be really into the Spice Girls.
Yes.
But not in an ironic 2014 way. I want to be Spice Up Your Life just came
Go
out.
to a concert.
Yeah.
Meet them. Become the 6th Spice Girl. Or 5th. Wait, how many Spice Girls are there? Is it 4? I thought there were 5. Or one of them left, right?
Oh, yeah. As soon as Ginger left, you wanted to swoop in?
Just swoop in. It's thoughts.
If you had a hot tub time machine, you'd be like, I want to be the Spice Girl.
Yeah.
Oh, this could be your interesting story. Yesterday, that movie?
Is it the Beatles?
Where they wake up and there's no Beatles and they think that the guy wrote Yesterday.
Oh, man. See, that could be me.
But you could be replacing Jerry Halliwell and the Spice Girls.
Yeah.
Because you know your knowledge now and you know how it's going to end.
That's true. I'll just play it, see how that plays out.
Plant all the seeds.
Make millions.
Yes.
That's what life's about. No, I'm just kidding.
Anything else?
Well, I will just say it's been interesting going down this rabbit hole with you because I never even thought there's anything wrong with Manic Pixie Dream Girls until I read all the discourse online and sat with, But
I think on the surface it's not bad, but I agree. Just sitting with it for a second is a little icky, but
yeah. But there's some merits, and there's not that many Manic Pixie Dream Girls really. It's really just a couple that we just have labeled. Also, I do think there are some Manic Pixie Dream Boys.
Ooh,
and I think
discuss.
Jack from Titanic is definitely he's only there to help Rose get out of her shell, shake things up for her, and then he dies. I'm just saying,
oh my god. Also, this proves this Manic Pixie Dream Girl theory, with Claire and Elizabethtown and the autumn in New York, Sweet November situation. What if, the conspiracy theory about Jack, what if they're not real? What if they're ghosts? In that one movie. Oh, that Last Christmas movie. Where the guy from Crazy Rich Asians isn't real.
He's not.
He's already died.
I haven't seen Last Christmas.
Yeah, it's Amelia Clark and the guy from Crazy Rich Asians.
Is that clip when we watched that clip about there's some Manic Pixie Dream Boys. Okay, yeah.
But I don't know. There is this subsect of Manic Pixie Dream Boys or gals where they could
just be
figments of the character's imagination.
That's so true. That's fascinating to me. Yeah, who's to say?
Who is to say? Or 500 Days of Summer, Tom makes up this summer situation in his head, kind of, sort of.
Yeah.
There's some elements.
There's some elements. It's very interesting. Well, yeah, I think she might be real just because his friends. She has to be real, I think.
I think she is real. Now, I do wonder what we're shown, what part is real and what's not. Because he's creating that ideal and that expectation reality situation.
Oh, and when his little sister's look back, I don't think things were the way you remembered or something. And there's where she doesn't want to hold his hand, little micro aggressions, maybe.
Yes.
Or maybe not aggressions, but just little micro incidences where they weren't really connecting. But he's oh yes, we were.
Oh, but I've been there looking for all the signs.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is this the ideal of someone.
Yeah.
But it's interesting when it goes into ghost territory. But anyways,
yeah.
Pixie Dream Boys.
Oh, who else? Oh, I guess we kind of touched on it. Timothée Chalamet and Lady Bird, I feel is I don't know, just his language he uses, anarchist and baller. Yeah. He's in a band. He's only in the movie for a very short period of time. He shakes things up for Lady Bird.
He does.
And it's kind of one of those things. I feel a lot of or what we assign the Manic Pixie Dream Girl, and it's not really a true Manic Pixie Dream Girl, just Summer is in 500 Days of Summer. Like they come in, they fuck shit up, and then leave.
He's a Manic Pixie Dream Girl.
Yeah.
Like, because he changes her life, but he doesn't like fully. Like I noticed that the Manic Pixie Dream Boy, they almost always die, but they like are really like saviors for the women or women character protagonist, you know?
What about Elf? Is he a Manic Pixie for everyone?
I think low key, like if we were to expand on the Manic Pixie Dream Boy, it would probably be Will Ferrell in Elf.
He's just so like childlike. He's like a fairy and so happy go lucky.
He like changes everyone's life for the better.
Yeah. He changed my life.
He changed my life too. I mean, I quote Elf at least once a week.
Yeah?
Bye, buddy. I hope you find your dad.
Yeah. If I do something bad, I'm like, I'm a cotton-headed ninny muggins.
Every time I see spaghetti, I say, where's the maple syrup?
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. Well, final thoughts, I guess.
In conclusion, I think a lot of movies with like the Manic Pixie Dream Girl trope are still pretty enjoyable. And I feel like this trope is pretty much dead at this point. But I think it was like necessary to have. Yeah.
And I like characters that are quirky and weird. So I don't know. I like seeing and like I just like interesting characters in general. So hopefully there'll be more of that.
Yeah. No, I agree. I understand the shortcomings. I understand the flaws, and I understand the criticism. I know it's a stock character. I know it's reductive. I know it is a pejorative term that, you know, it's not like a good thing to be a Manic Pixie Dream Girl. However,
they have great taste in music.
They do. They have killer style. They're able to be so free-spirited and express themselves. And who doesn't love a character that comes in and shakes up a protagonist's life for the better? Like, I don't think that we have to throw the baby out with the bathwater with the Manic Pixie Dream Girl.
I agree.
As long as I think when it becomes a problem is when, and I think this is what Nathan Rabin was trying to say about Elizabethtown. It's only a problem when it's pretty obvious that the character's only there to forward the plot and be a plot device.
Is that like lazy writing though?
I think so. And I think there's so many, you know, characters and writers. And even though I'm his number one hater, Zach Braff, writing Sam, it's not terrible. It's quite good in a lot of ways, or at least Natalie Portman's performances. There is like a due diligence almost. There's a respect for the character enough to at least allude to a backstory.
Yeah.
I think the real issue too is when we don't have enough female characters that are doing things outside of the male gaze or doing things for a male. When we see female protagonists, you know, being themselves and expressing themselves, if they're a Manic Pixie Dream Girl or not, I think that's excellent. I just want to see female characters. I want to see them messy. I want to see them amazing. Like,
no, I
don't
think
care.
Messy's so interesting to me. I love it. And I loved Summer in 500 Days of Summer. I thought she was interesting.
I do too, and I appreciate that like honesty, and I love the quirkiness of Sam and Garden State, and I love, you know, the like almost deadpan energy of Ramona Flowers, and you know, I love all of the Manic Pixie Dream Girl characters. Like, I don't want a world without them. And
yeah, it'd be so bland.
And I don't want a world with Zooey Deschanel, because after rewatching 500 Days and New Girl, I'm like, gosh, she was great. She was a moment.
She was a
She's
moment.
great.
Why did we like? I think maybe we had like Zooey Deschanel fatigue a little bit, and maybe just maybe it's like also like, what is it like when you know, just maybe like you're cringing, but because you see yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe we were over Twee at a certain point. I don't know. I just think it's kind of wrong that we've assigned that label to Zooey Deschanel as a person as well. Like, because she is like a person. Like, obviously she's an actor, but I think she does have like, she does present like this persona of like Twee. Like, her aesthetic is kind of Twee and quirky. She's like not like other girls or whatever, but that's not really a bad thing.
No. And I think sometimes, you know, the not like other girls is a terrible thing to say. It's a terrible thing to think. But I also think that the not like other girls of it all, at least for me, when I think of that, it makes me think of a very like juvenile high school urge of females to not be like other girls, me included. And I think that if that propels you to think outside of your binary box in any way, right on.
True.
I think at the end of the day, you're right. There's so many great things about the Manic Pixie Dream Girl that it's a fun trope. So I love to see it. Also, we didn't talk about Emma Watson's character in Perks of Being a Wallflower.
Oh yeah, I forgot about her.
Very Manic Pixie Dream Girl-y, but also, I guess if we're just concluding up, I would love to see like a Logan Lerman's Charlie, but it be a female character played by Emma Watson. Or I'd love to see, you know, Zach Braff in Garden State, but it's a female. I think we still haven't gotten to the point where it's acceptable for females to be the sad girl.
Yeah.
And be the protagonist, to be like a Peter Parker, like nerdy, awkward girl that's still hot. Like, we haven't gotten like the female Seth Cohen yet, who's maybe on the spectrum, but like the lead and like the hottie. And the closest is probably Garden State. But you know what I mean, though? Like, we haven't gotten that character as a female yet. And I think that we'll see real progress when I get to see someone that I identify with. Like, I always identify with the guys a little more.
Interesting.
Like, I want to see that, if that makes sense.
No, that makes sense. Maybe it's just having more female writers in general, too, behind these projects, or directors, too.
Yeah. Also, for that to be sexy. Like, why is it sexy if Logan Lerman is like that in Perks of Being a Wallflower? Or not sexy.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't find him sexy.
No, but like, there's an element where he's still like a cutie.
Yeah.
And he's still the lead, and still like there's no, I think females still get so much put onto them anyways. So I don't know. I'd love to see different types of
flipped.
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
Different types of women on screen too.
I agree. Just more female protagonists.
Yeah. More female directors.
Yeah.
Perspectives.
Yeah. No, I think we need that. That's probably part of the problem. That's what was maybe lacking in those movies.
Probably.
You know? But yeah.
Yeah.
It probably wouldn't. I don't even know if there would be, like, if it was the female protagonist, like you're saying, and there was a female Zach Braff, would it also be different? Because would you be waiting for a man to save you? You know what I mean? And this, like a Manic Pixie Dream Boy, or would that even?
But you should be able to convey that.
Yeah.
Like, why not?
Yeah. What would you like to see if you were writing this story?
Garden State?
Yeah. If you were Zach Braff.
100% the same thing, except a female. Because I want to see females on screen being everything in all the characters. I want to see them in all the tropes.
Yeah.
Not just the Manic Pixie Dream Girl, not just the girl next door. Like, I want to get into the depths.
Yeah.
I want to see them nerdy, but not a side character and not the butt of a joke. I want to see them as the protagonist.
You're right. We don't have a lot of nerdy girls that are like not the butt of the joke, which is
I want to see them be sad and you still think that they're attractive and sexy and worthy of love.
I wonder, this isn't a movie, but Bones might be an interesting watch because she's kind of nerdy and she's hot. Isn't that Zooey Deschanel's? No.
It is.
Is that her sister?
Yeah.
Right? Anyway, I'm just saying. And she seems a little sad.
I'm into it.
Yeah.
I'm into it. I also have to watch The Edge of 17. I hear that is very good and like a coming of age
Ooh.
film. It's like Haley Steinfeld, but
Is there any Stevie Nicks music in there?
your mouth to God's
I
ears.
hope, but
I don't know. I want to see the rise of the Manic Pixie Dream Girl. I'm holding out hope.
yeah, just
Yeah.
from her perspective.
Yeah. Want to see more quirky girls.
Yeah.
Give us some Brie circa 2012. Being like, I bought a dress with a bird on it.
I do have like my,
This is my personality.
it's like my new girl dress, basically.
I loved it. I was like, yes.
I think I have a pair of glasses. We all wore like fake glasses too.
Mm-hmm.
So embarrassing.
Yeah. I love
now I
how-
have real glasses.
I know. Manifesting. It's a great thing, but we'll be manifesting more female characters.
Definitely. Always. You can never have too many.
No. Can't have enough Manic Pixie Dream Girls
Mm-mm.
that aren't Manic Pixie Dream Girls because we're more than that.
Yeah, they're more.
Well, we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye. Late to the Party is hosted by Nikki Jensen and Brie Picconi. Our podcast is produced by Grace Dunbar and edited by Brie.
That's me. Thanks for listening. Make sure to rate and review us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We'll see you next week. Bye.